Let's fast forward to 2020, where all of a sudden credit markets seized up and funding sources died for so many deals as we saw. What did that mean for Sharestates? What happened to your ability to fund deals in the end of March?
We had grown quite a bit in the 5 years since we launched our business. We formally launched in 2015. Since then, we funded about $2.5 billion in loan volume. And leading right up until March, we were closing just about $100 million a month. Our business model is a little different than your typical financing model because we were all about diversification of capital sources. This concept of having a large marketplace of investors, institutions, individuals, family offices, every type of capital you could imagine. But the one key common theme was we were diversifying. If you look at who our competitors in this space were historically and how the business normally works is you've got a standalone fund, somebody who's gone out and raised some amount of money. It could be 30, 40, 50 million. It could be $1 billion, whatever the number is. You have one source of capital. It's predefined. You've already raised it. And now you're focusing on either lending or investing or whatever that fund is going to do. We were working with hundreds of investors. And the thesis there for us was if we diversify our capital sources enough, then we should be able to withstand any sort of economic downturn. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't feel it. Of course, everybody feels it, but the business doesn't stop. And that's where we are today. We thankfully have diversified our capital sources enough through the years that even though we're not doing nearly 100 million a month in volume now, we're still able to operate. That means that we can continue to fund draws for our borrowers. That means we can continue to service those loans. We've built a balance sheet. We've built a servicing book with servicing revenue that's coming in that allows us to retain our employees, continue providing services to our existing investors and to our existing borrowers, as well as close new loan volume. That being said, we felt it just like anybody else. We had investors that unfortunately had to go on pause while they were figuring out internally what they were going to do in terms of next steps, whether they were going to continue investing, they were going to potentially shut down. Nobody really knows. Thankfully, I can say now 90 days later that I'm confident that all of our investors, but maybe one, are going to survive on the institutional side. And thankfully on the crowdfunded side or the syndication side, we still have plenty of capital coming in the door from both smaller institutions as well as retail investors.
Fantastic. That's good to hear.